Welcome to episode 29. This is Loansanddrones, and today we have another special guest, Jessica Garry. I call her the marketing guru, and she is just blowing it up on TikTok. She's got over 1 million views on many of her posts. You do not want to miss this. She's going to tell us how she does it. Stay tuned. Jessica.
Hi, Bill.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Good. So let's get right into it. I think we've already discussed this in the last episode, but how did you get into real estate?
Well, I got into real estate because both my parents are realtors, and my dad is actually currently my managing broker, and he's been licensed for 40 years, and my mom has been licensed for 30 years. So pretty much my entire life.
Been in the business for a little bit, haven't they? Yeah, so you come from good stock.
Yeah.
The difference between you and them, what is it?
I'm a lot better at social media than they are.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I also went to college for 6 years for business management, and I really liked marketing. So that's, my strong suit. So that's kind of been the blend between me and my dad. Is he's the experience of 40 years, and I'm the social media aspect. And together we've been doing really great.
So what do you do for him and his team? Because I do see all your marketing, and it's spot on. You do amazing work. What do you do for him?
Well, every time we have a listing, I take the listing photos myself with my camera, my DSLR camera, and then I edit it in Photoshop and Lightroom. So it's legit. But I always take a video, right? And here's the thing that I was actually thinking about before I got here is a big characteristic of being a good realtor is being flexible, right? And sometimes when clients call us, we don't have a week time to prepare for marketing. They're like, okay, I want this on the market, in 2 days, right? So I don't have time to call professionals in to take a video of me. So that's kind of how I got into shooting videos myself, because I wanted to promote the listing in the way that I like to do with a video on social media. But I don't always have the time to have a professional come in, shoot the video, edit it, and get it back to me.
So wait a second. You're doing the photos and you're doing the videos.
Yeah.
And it looks like top quality. Like I always brag about the one video that really sets, I think was like your pivotal moment, was the one where you wrote the new listing on the screen of the camera. How do you even do that?
So that was a listing that I had in Addison. And first things first is you want to think about what you want this video to look like once you're done editing it. So I knew going into that shoot or that listing, the video that I wanted to produce for that listing, which was writing on the screen. So with that being said, I actually had I had a lipstick in my purse, and that's what I used as like my wand to write on the screen. So I set up my tripod, and the other, like my number one tip, or one of my number one tips or secrets, is that my Apple Watch actually controls my phone. So I use it instead of like a standard Bluetooth remote. I use my Apple Watch because I can see where I am in the frame. I can make sure that I'm focused on myself, and I can just preview what it looks like on my phone, on my watch, right? So I set up my tripod. I have my watch controlling the phone so I can preview what it looks like, right? And then I just hit record on my watch, and then that's how I could pretend right on the screen. And then a lot of the thing that people don't realize, that don't do a lot with video, is really the magic happens in the post-editing process, right? Like when I shot that video, there was no cool sound. It didn't look very nice, right? So you have to go through the editing process to really see what the video is going to look like, right? Like it doesn't come out of the camera the way that it is posted, right? So I went into CapCut. I did a couple magic tricks in CapCut, and that's how I did that video.
Wow. So how did you learn how to do the one that just kind of is the jaw dropper is, how did you learn how to use the watch to be your remote? Like that's where anybody watching this or listening is going to say, how do you do that? What do you do? So
you just go into your watch, and it's a setting. I wish I could show them like what the setting looks like. I mean, I can maybe. I don't know if you guys could zoom in, but it's that gray one. It's like a little like camera with like a button on top of it.
Yeah.
And every Apple Watch has it. And obviously, the Apple ecosystem. So like the phone connects to the watch. Like it actually just turned, my camera on when I did that. So, just knowing those like little tips and tricks, like really, it's there to help you. Those features are there to help you. You just have to remember to use them. It's kind of like when you go to get a new phone and you're like, oh, this phone is so much better than my old phone because the camera is so much better and it's got Siri and it has all of this, and then you end up never using it.
Right.
That's actually something that I do use all the time because that is how I'm able to shoot videos myself. Yeah, that's probably my number one question I get asked is how I shoot my videos. And honestly, it is all me. Like 95% of my videos are all me between obviously my iPhone, because that's what shoots it, my Apple Watch, and my tripod from Amazon. That is my whole marketing camera department.
Don't forget your gimbal, because you use a gimbal.
Yeah, my DJI gimbal.
You took the question right out of my mouth. I was going to ask, what type of equipment do you bring in and what do you use? So you've mentioned a couple of things, but give a little punch list of things that you would prepare to
get started.
To get started, or like any realtor out there that's actually going to do their first video and they want to do it by themselves. What does that look like? What would you suggest to them?
Right. So my list is your smartphone, Apple Watch, the DJI mics, and a tripod. Those are like the 4 things you need to get started.
They can be like you.
Yes.
Okay. So then what about post-production? So what if I never, ever even thought about editing videos? What do you do with that? So you shoot the camera.
Call me.
Yeah. Well,
have me help you.
Okay, how much is your hourly rate? See, that's what I'm telling her. I tell her all the time, you need to create a side business on a side hustle that is an LLC with you showing people how to do this.
So I stopped by a kind of like a farmer's market craft show yesterday for one of my dear clients and friends. We actually went to college together, and I came in there and they see all my videos that I do. And I told them, I was like, okay, I can help you guys right now shoot a video. So I popped by their craft show yesterday and I actually helped them shoot an entire video. And it felt really good to help, other people in what I'm so good at doing. Yeah. Because it was so easy for me. And they were like, how do you just know how to do this? And I'm like, okay, like you come over here, say this line, you come over here, say this line, we're going to do this. Yeah. And I had to put it in a TikTok for them because they don't have CapCut because of the whole debacle that just happened with like TikTok and CapCut. But I edited and shot the video for them in probably an hour. And they were just so grateful. And they're like, we just want to watch what you do. And I was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's different levels, right? Like I think what you're getting to with a lot of the real estate agents and loan officers and anybody else for that matter that is afraid of the one-eyed monster, which is the camera, the big cameras. Yeah. Like we have good high tech. We have awesome camera guys here. Visual Film Works is amazing. So there's a whole different level there. But when it comes to just starting, that's where you're at. You had to get to a point where like, I'm afraid of the camera. Like you would do videos, your TikTok, your TikTok videos that did millions didn't even have you on there, right?
No, and that's actually, I'm really glad that you brought that up because I was just thinking that on the way here as well is that's the beauty of social media and content creation is you can really make it what you want it to be, right?
Right.
There's accounts and influencers on TikTok, on Instagram that have millions of followers that don't even speak. They don't show their face and they don't speak. And they have millions of followers because they're, like comfort creators or they're just, they're known for that style of content. You don't have to be like everybody else. You don't, for realtors, you don't have to get up in front of your listing and be walking in the front yard and saying, hi, I'm Jessica Garry with Garry Real Estate. Welcome to 123 Main Street. If you don't want to do that,
right.
You can do a voiceover. You can just do a, video walkthrough with music over, the video going through the house. You can really, you can make it what you want it to be. And that's where I found my real passion and my comfort is because I'm in control of what I put out, right? So if I feel uncomfortable doing that, I don't have to do that. I don't have to get up in front of the house and say my name and, welcome to my listing in the front yard. I don't have to do it that way. I can have a drone fly at my head.
Thank you, Travis, for not killing her on the first shoot.
Yeah, or the one that we did where he was actually filming me on my scooter in Bussy Woods and then followed me with a drone over to my listing.
Yeah.
And then I rode past him on my scooter saying like, let's go check out my new listing, 70 Woodcrest. That was the listing.
70 Woodcrest.
In Elk Grove.
Is it still out there?
No, it's sold. I sold it in like that weekend.
How many, so how many views did you get on that video when you did that? Because that was a really unique video. So she comes in.
I'm not sure.
She comes in on a scooter and...
Oh, right here. 7,200.
7,200 views. Okay, so there you go. That just tells you. So that's the cool part about this is that what I love about what you just said was the fact that you can actually you go off of your feel. Sometimes there's times when I don't feel like being
on camera,
but you need to because that's the world that we live in, right? So you actually...
I find that content that has me in it does far better than content that doesn't have me in it.
Yeah.
But really, the thing is about being consistent and putting out, consistent content all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously the quality matters, right? I don't want to just be putting out garbage. But if you don't feel like being in that video, you don't have to be. Yeah. Just do a voiceover. It still makes it personable.
Right. Right. And so when you're talking about consistency, when you look at your consistency and how you've grown, what does that look like for Jessica? Like how often do you put a video out and how many times a week? Let's just put it into like a very hyper.
Right. Okay. So I'm trying to post at least 3 to 4 reels a week.
Okay.
And carousel posts.
Carousel posts. So carousel works for you too.
Yeah,
that engagement with that.
Yeah, the engagement and the reach for carousel posts is actually really high for me.
So just so everybody knows, carousel posts is basically having the picture on the initial profile feed, and then there's like 2 or 3 photos or information packets behind that, right? And
yeah, like the one that I did, like the one that I did. That's what you need to get a mortgage pre-approval.
Right.
And then I go through all the things that you need. And then at the end, it's like, save this post, so that you can look back at it when you're ready to get pre-approved.
Right. That's good. 7,200 views. Let's go back to that. So when you're looking at what type of video that you want to create, I think there's different levels, right? So if you wanted to look at just, you do random stuff that you're in the car.
Yeah.
And I've seen other people, like Paige Steckling does a lot of this too. So she'll do the raw stuff. Then she'll do like the first person, maybe talking head stuff.
Yeah.
And then she'll put in the sexy, big production video as well too. So what would you say as far as, is there a flow or format that you put together with regards to your business model?
I think just showing people who I am outside of real estate, right? That was always such a big thing for me, a big battle I had in my head because I have my business Instagram and then my personal Instagram. And when I had my Instagram set up that way, my business Instagram was where posts went to die. Like nobody engaged with that profile at all. I didn't get a lot of likes and it was just kind of there, low followers, low engagement. It wasn't doing anything, right? And honestly, I'm not surprised that it was that way, right? Because if you don't actually put out authentic content and engage with your audience, that's how your Instagram is going to be. It's going to be a place where posts go to die. I hate to say it that way, but it's true, right?
The cemetery.
It's true. Posts go to die there. If you just put up stock photos that say, just listed, just sold, nobody's going to engage with that stuff. They're going to look at it and be like, oh, okay, great. She posts her listings on there. I don't want to follow that page.
Right.
So what I did is I did away with having 2 separate Instagrams and I went to having just my business Instagram where I post more of my personal life, about, my hobbies. I like to bowl, obviously. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that a lot. About my dog, about just, things throughout the day. Like this new thing that I have for myself in 2025 is I want to rely a lot less on my GPS. So now what I do is when I'm going on a showing, I'll actually look at the place that I'm going on a map, on the computer, map out the route in my head and try to get there without using GPS. And that's just something that I shared on my Instagram story. And it's actually really cool because when you do that, people actually start to pay attention. Like you'd be surprised how many of my clients, they're like, did you use GPS to get here today? I'm like,
wow.
No, I didn't. I successfully got here with just my brain. So it's actually really cool. And all the time when I'm out just, organically and with my friends, and someone just mentioned something to me. Like my friend just mentioned to me the other night, she's like, where was that bookshelf door that you were coming out of? And I was like, you didn't like my post or, engage with it, but you still saw it. And that's another big thing that I wanted to bring up is people get so wrapped up in the likes and the comments and the shares. And I want to say, give yourself grace and don't get so caught up in the likes and all of that. And your views are really what matters, right? Because how many people view your story versus like your posts?
Right.
And that's a huge gap, right? Like I'll get, double, triple the people viewing my story that don't like my posts or comment on my posts.
Right.
So I think that people get like so wrapped up in that stuff that I think that also kind of like stops them from doing anything because they're like, oh, well, the last time I posted, I didn't get, the likes or the views that I want. And they don't realize that it is a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, I don't want to say it's unlikely that you're going to go viral in one video or one post like people do sometimes, but it's a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I heard this on TikTok the other day. You are one post away from changing your life forever.
Really?
Talk about how powerful that is.
That is very powerful.
Well, think about like the Huktua girl. Her whole entire life changed. She did one.
And is that a positive or is that a negative?
No, it was. I mean, she did one like 8-second clip, 10-second clip, and now she like quit her job, has a podcast, and like everybody knows who she is.
Yeah, she wasn't even intending. It was somebody else actually interviewing her. So
that's what I'm saying, and that's the power of social media.
Oh, somebody else. Yeah, so she got caught into somebody else's intent.
Yeah, so you're one post away from changing your life forever.
That's good.
And that is the fuel that keeps me going.
Either positive or negative, so be careful, right?
Yeah.
So don't.
I know the cancel culture.
Well, yeah, I mean, so here's a question that I think a lot of people that are listening to this or watching this would have. You're an Instagram sensation. Yeah. You're a TikTok sensation.
Right.
You get it. You get all the likes. You're the one. But does that correlate to business? How are you turning that into money making? Are you seeing engagement that people are asking you for listings and, real estate opportunities?
Yeah, I've had a lot of opportunities actually to collaborate with other small creators in the area, which is really cool. And as far as clients go, it's crazy to me to think that, in real estate, we're so trained and conditioned to think that you have to chase leads down, right? You have to follow up with them a million times to get them to respond, or you're always like chasing them and having to prove your value. And now that I have, built this like little bit of, a following that I have, not that it's huge, but it's local. People actually come into my Instagram inbox and give me their information and ask me to reach out to them. Like, hey, can you call me? And
really?
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And I've also had, just people that are, gearing up to buy in spring or summer of this year also reach out to me on Instagram. Yeah. Good. So I have them, in my database and, I will be reaching out to them when, they're ready to go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's huge. I mean, that's where it just tells you in this day and age that, so many people, and I know that a lot of people pay for marketing. They pay for a lot of stuff, especially when it's a hard market. Like this is a hard market. So I see realtors paying thousands.
Yeah. And the best part is social media is free marketing.
Right.
It is free. You don't have to pay anything for it, right?
Nice 4-letter word.
Right. It's free 99, right? So it's like, why would
that sound like something your dad would say? Right?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, dad joke. Yeah, especially my dad. But it's like you have all of the resources, right? Because this is the other thing that I want to say is when you're first starting out, you don't need all of the fancy stuff to get started, right? And I know that, again, that's kind of like a limiting belief that people have in their head. Well, I can't get started because I don't have a tripod and I don't have the fancy mics and I don't have an Apple Watch. I don't have all of this stuff, so I can't get started. Wrong. You can. You can. As long as you have your phone, even if you don't have wireless mics, record in a room that's quiet. Just make sure that there's not a lot of background noise, and just get yourself in that momentum and get going. Like, you don't have to wait until you have all of these things ready to go.
Right.
Start doing it and get yourself motivated by seeing the traction that you're getting. Because I promise you, you will if you're authentic and you're consistent. Mm-hmm. And that's my other, like, for any new realtor starting out, my top 3 tips in creating your own personal brand is, number 1, get professional headshots done and lifestyle photos if your budget allows for that, because it's a little bit more because you have, more photos than just headshots. Number 2 would be give out a consistent brand image, right? So like all of the same fonts, all of the same colors, and you're pretty much giving out like the same message, because this really dawned on me because I actually posted something on Facebook. My aunt commented and she was like, "Oh, I knew this was your post before I even digested it and looked at it because of the way that it was laid out and the fonts and the colors," right? Okay. Well, think about it. It's like when you look at like a Nike ad or Adidas ad, sure, or any type of, Starbucks, right? Like you know kind of what the feel and what the imagery is, right, for their marketing. Right. So that would be my second tip. And my third tip is just be consistent. And I know that's so hard. It's so hard. It's simple, but it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, at the time that this is being filmed, this is first week of February in 2025. Yeah. It's never too late, right?
No. And like I said, you don't need all of these things to get started. If you have an iPhone or one of those Android phones, whatever they're called, I'm not sure.
She's an Apple guy. That's why I dressed up like Steve Jobs.
I have the whole Apple ecosystem. Okay, I have the iPad, I have my MacBook, I have my iPhone, my watch on. So yeah, I'm a strong Apple girl. But you don't need all of those things to get started.
Right.
You just need a good idea, be authentic, and your phone.
And be consistent.
Yeah,
it's huge. I mean, that's how you did it. So, last question really quick on this.
Sure.
I think people would also ask, okay, so where did you learn it? Did you learn it from somebody or did you teach yourself?
Kind of both. I would say I've always been a self-learner, a self-teacher, if you will. I taught myself how to use Photoshop when I was 12 years old. And from there, and I was actually just talking about this yesterday too. So I actually used to code MySpace layouts. Do you know what that is? You know what MySpace?
I had a MySpace. I'm old enough. Right?
Yeah, but you know what like coding like the layout is, like the HTML code?
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this, because I know there's something inside your mind that's different than everybody else.
So, is that good or bad?
That's good. That's why I say you have a brilliant mind. She's a rising star, and you're a rising star, and you got both sets of the world. Like, you have the creative side, which a lot of people don't have, especially in the business world. Yeah. And you also have the business side, which is, to me, it's a unicorn scenario. Yeah. So that's where I was going with it. But so you were a coder?
When I was like 12, I was the kid in middle school that if you wanted to like hide your song or have like little hearts falling on your profile, like I was the one that you would come to.
So you were like Matthew Broderick in War Games. You ever seen that movie?
No.
It was way before you, because it's like a 1984 movie. Do you remember?
So yeah,
Travis? He would hack into the system, and then all of a sudden he created a nuclear war that was going off. So he had to bring him into the. Anyways, watch it. It's fun. It's an 80s movie. Who doesn't love 80s movies?
So I started coding MySpace layouts when I was 12. Then I taught myself Photoshop. And I've just always been somebody that has an eye for marketing. I don't know really how to explain that. It's just I know what is going to look good and what's not and how it's going to translate. I don't know how to explain that. It's just something that I know.
I would echo that, because here's where she and I have shot videos together, and I will resist her almost every time on a shoot.
Kind of like these lights.
Kind of like the lights, right? So she's got her brand pink up. I got some green behind me.
Which goes back to me saying with the personal brand, you're always green, I'm always pink.
100%. And she made me kind of rethink my colors now. So with the podcast, so who knows what's going to happen? But
Bill's always going to have green.
But here's the thing: every time she says to do something, we've done it and it works.
Yeah. So at least consider it. At first, you're kind of like, no, I don't know, and then I'm like, just try it.
Yeah, and
Like
then we do
even like the walking and talking with the mic, you were like, yeah, I really like the way that looked.
So what I thought, here's what she's explaining. So I thought I had to walk into the mic. So when you're walking and you see people walking with their microphone to the camera typically sometimes doesn't move. Well, she's like, let's move it with you walking, and it will look much better. And I'm like, you sure about that? I think I should just walk to a spot and then stop. And she's like, no, let the camera flow with you talking, and it'll look much better. And sure enough, we did it, and it looked better, even though she did shoot it from a bad angle, and I had like. I like a little real sloppy, but that's okay. We're gonna work on your camera skills too.
Yeah. But that's I feel like at first when we started shooting videos together, because obviously if you follow me on Instagram, you know I do a lot of collabs with Bill the Mortgage Guy, and when we first started shooting together, you were kind of like, all right, let's do it my way, and I was like, okay, and then I got more comfortable because you know why? I started internally studying myself. And I think that's a big piece that a lot of people miss is when you are consuming content, you're on Instagram Reels, you're on YouTube Shorts, you're, on TikTok. I think I keep bringing up TikTok. I love TikTok. But when you're consuming...
TikTok, don't leave us. Jessica.
Please,
Jessica will cry.
I had a meltdown in those 12 hours. But when you're consuming those things...
Yeah.
Stop and think, okay, why did I watch this video all the way through? What was the beginning like? What did they say? Good. What were they doing? What did I like about this video, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I keep evolving, right? Because now that I'm conscious of it, especially because I'm trying to put out content myself, when I'm watching content and consuming it, I'm also taking mental notes. What did I like about this? Why did I scroll on that video and not this one?
Right.
The best person to study is yourself.
Right. And you're going back to decoding what the people are using that's attracting you.
Exactly.
Because if it attracts you and you're an influencer, I would say you're an influencer.
Really?
Yeah, of course. A million views. Who ever says that ever? That's like a lottery ticket to me. Like if somebody came in here and said I had a million views on one video, that's an influencer. You've influenced a million people to watch your video. So there you go. You have a knowledge of it. And
it's really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah. You should have like an award or something. I mean, come on. Or at least make money on it. That's what we're talking about too. You got to make money on that stuff.
Yeah, but I would say the other thing is when you are creating this content, right? You want to be intentional and thoughtful with this content, right? Who are you trying to reach? And what is the message that you're trying to give them, right? So when I'm, consuming all this content, I make note of that. What was the hook? What did it sound like? What did I learn from this? Was it entertaining? Was it persuading me to buy something? Was it just an educational style video? So you want to go into creating that content with your intention and your thought behind it of getting that message across, whatever it is.
Right. That's gold. I mean, anybody that's listening to this, definitely take heed to her advice because she knows it. And that's kind of what I noticed with you at the beginning. You showed me your TikTok and I go, okay, so why aren't you using that for the real estate and complimenting your real estate? And then you took off. And
because I was like, Hannah Montana. It was my double life.
Hannah Montana.
Well,
what do you mean by that?
You never watched Hannah Montana?
Nah, I was too old.
Right.
So let's get
Hannah Montana, she has a double life.
For a 40-year-old.
Right. So she has a double life. So
does she? I didn't. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
my nieces used to watch it.
Yeah. So she's like a normal, regular girl that goes to school, has normal friends, but then she's also a pop star sensation and super famous. But she's living a double life, but nobody knows that it's her, right? Because she still wants to have her, normal, not famous life, right? So that was kind of me. And the reason I started out on TikTok was it was actually a COVID hobby. And since I went to school, my thought was actually, I didn't want to go into real estate. I didn't want to be a realtor. I didn't want to follow in my parents' footsteps. That was not my plan. And I wanted to go on I wanted to be a part of a marketing team for something like BarkBox or a makeup company. That was my dream job, especially a makeup company. I would have loved to been on the marketing team for, brands like, Benefit or Urban Decay, any of those brands. That was my dream job. And TikTok kind of gave me the opportunity to do that a little bit because a lot of those TikToks that I have that have those higher view counts are of products because that's what I originally wanted to do. So it was kind of like a way to prove to myself that I could do it, even though that obviously I love my career and what I chose to do. And I really do love real estate. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do like the product marketing that I was intending to do before I went into real estate.
Yeah. Well, you're building a big resume right now. So I would say BarkBox and all the companies you're talking about, you definitely need to watch out for because that could be something down the road. You never know. Yeah. If you don't like real estate, but you're crushing it in real estate.
Yeah.
And I love everything you're doing. And like I said, you are I say a rising star. I think you're already there. You just don't know it yet. You're just because I'm seeing other people ask me about your content and asking how they can.
It's so crazy to me, and I will always thank you for being the driving force that was pushing me to take what I was doing on TikTok behind the scenes and pushing it over to my actual business.
Came over to the dark side.
Well, and that's the thing too. And like I want to make this like real, right, for people that are watching this that. I was also scared. I didn't want to get on camera. Those videos that I have, I'm not in them, right? And you don't hear my voice. Like I was kind of like a ghostwriter, for like a song, right?
Right.
Nobody knew it was actually me behind the camera because I was apprehensive of doing, the video marketing on my Instagram because what if people didn't like it? What if it was a flop? And I mean, I was scared, and that's why I resisted it for so long.
Yeah, I think you got to the point where you're like, I don't really care. Like that was kind of like the.
I was on the phone with you.
That
remember?
Was the growth. That's the growth that I saw. You it clicked for you. Go, I don't care what people think about me anymore.
Yeah,
and that's a Gary V.
Well, I was on
Gary V.
I was on the phone with you. Remember? Yeah. It was last summer, and I was so fed up with what was going on. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And you were like, come over, we'll shoot some videos. You can cut them up and edit them, and we'll start, you can consistently start posting videos. And I said, okay. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's when I think we did like our first like batch of like 3 videos that day.
Right. Yeah, we were trying different angles.
And that's kind of how we started out.
Awesome.
And now we're here.
Doing podcasts, and this will create more, repurposing reels. And you have a lot of good things. And I think you're going to be on a panel at some point and talking about this and teaching it. So like I said, you might want to have a backup LLC just so you can start making money on that piece. Now we're to the episode portion where we're going to ask some random questions.
Okay.
What do you think about that? Are you?
Yeah, I'm good at random questions.
See, she's like the only one that's, all the other people are like, I'm scared. I'm scared about.
I'm not scared.
You're not scared?
No.
Okay. So what's one piece of advice that somebody has given you that you'll never forget? And that you carry through life?
My dad, I guess I would say my dad always says, tell the truth. He's a very honest person. And if you tell the truth, you're never going to go wrong because it's the truth. You're never going to be caught in a lie.
That's good. Integrity is everything, especially in the business we're in, right?
The other thing that I always say is success is simple, not easy.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's true because consistency is hard.
Yeah. It's simple, but not easy. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Oh, good. That's good. Both of those are good. If you could be anywhere in the world today, where would it be?
Key West, Florida.
Key West? Mm-hmm. What do you like about Key West?
Everything. Literally.
Is it snowy there right now?
No, Key West is just beautiful. They really are on island time over there. It's a really relaxed vibe. There's all of the bars and restaurants and shops along Duval Street. Okay. There's roosters in the street.
Aren't there like baby miniature deer too?
No. There's roosters. There's roosters everywhere.
Roosters?
Like you're eating at a restaurant and there's just like roosters like pecking.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Okay. Well, cool. If you could, this might be a tough one, but if you could meet anybody, whether it be your future legacy and generations of what Jessica has left on the table here, or go back and meet your past ancestors, who would it be?
I think I'd rather fast forward.
Really?
And see the legacy, that I left.
Cool.
Yeah. Because I mean, the past is cool. I mean, I've learned a lot about the past, like the past and the history of my family through my parents, right? But it's also like that was, their legacy. That's their life, right? And if I have kids, then, what do my grandkids,
Right.
go on to be?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
Can I ask you questions now?
You can do whatever you want. This is a free.
Can I rapid fire questions to you now?
Yeah. Only 3 though.
Okay.
Or only 2 or 3.
Okay.
Because
What's your favorite childhood memory?
I would say
I did a bill on Bill.
Yeah, now I'm anxious.
I did a
Why
bill
am I
on Bill.
anxious
Yeah,
about
see,
this
now you
stuff?
know what it feels like.
Favorite childhood memory
Yeah.
would probably
Maybe with
be
your paw, your
Yeah.
meemaw.
Yeah, I think so. I was a swimmer. And I'd travel all over the place. I think going to different places with my parents because we weren't big travelers. That was the big thing that I could not stand about my family is we never went anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a Truman story. Like I felt like I was stuck in this little cul-de-sac for my whole life. And no offense, mom and dad, but we never traveled. So when we did travel, I used swimming to do that, and that's where.
I didn't know you were a swimmer.
Yep.
That's super cool. Can you still swim?
Yeah.
Well-
that's why I did 5 Ironman.
Right.
Yeah, it's 2.5 miles of swimming, so I should know something about it. But hey,
You swam for 2 miles?
yeah, it's 100. So
Wow.
Ironman racing is 140 miles. Chris is
Okay.
gonna get into doing one. Travis, you're next. Travis is like, yeah, right.
Yeah, Travis is like, yeah, I don't think so. Don't think so.
But yeah, it's 140 miles of racing, and then you swim 2.5 miles, and then you ride 112, and then you run a marathon.
I could probably do that. I'm good at riding a bike.
Yeah.
Really good.
Good.
And roller skating.
Oh yeah, you are a roller skater.
Yeah. Okay, number 2. If you could be doing anything else in the world right now, what would you be doing?
I'm a family guy. So being
Aw.
with, I think we're going to go on a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
So that to me is something I'm looking forward to, just to watch and see, JoJo and Gigi just when I showed them a video of it, they go Mimi, which means Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
And so I'm just excited to see their faces. To me, that's the fun of Christmas. That's the fun of like just kids in general. So that would be what I'd like to do with my wife. Of course, I love my wife to dearly. She's sick right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
We love you, Laura.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Laura? If you don't, then you're
Something's wrong with you.
something
Like
is
really,
wrong with-
really,
right?
really wrong with
Right?
you.
Seriously.
Okay, wait. 3rd question. Let me think. Oh, this is probably a good one. When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Football player all day long until I snapped my leg in half.
Really?
Yeah.
You played football too?
Yeah. My dad he played for Michigan State. He was All-American. So yeah, we were a big football family, and then and your dad was an awesome athlete too, right?
Yeah, he was really good at baseball and basketball. And I think he still holds a record at Fenton for basketball.
Yeah.
Wait, so football, what position did you play?
Quarterback.
Really?
And then played free safety, and I think I was getting noticed a little bit more for free safety. So our family liked hitting.
Wait, how
From Michigan, we like hitting.
Wait, how many years did you play football? I did not know this. I'm
Yeah,
learning
all
so
through-
much.
Yeah, all through. I know, right? This is why you may need to talk to these guys about getting your own podcast, right? There you go. So I all the way up to high school, and then I tried walking on to Central Michigan, and the knee wasn't ever the same after that, so I couldn't do a lot of stuff. Yeah,
You know what I played in middle
devastating.
school?
It was actually a devastating point in my life.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah, because you thought you were going to go to
100%.
college for football, and next thing you knew, no, you weren't.
Yeah, I needed therapy for years after that.
Wow.
So
I played volleyball in middle school.
Did
And then
you?
I was super popular and super cool in high school. I was in marching band and I was on the bowling team.
100%. Look at that. Boom.
Super cool.
Well, if anybody wanted to bowl with you, where would they get to meet you? Where's your bowling alley, by the way?
Roselle. Valero.
She likes Roselle.
I also love Wooddale Bowl. And this is actually so cute. I have a picture of me at Wooddale Bowl with a trophy. And the bowling alley
That's
the bowling
cute.
alley
Look at
looks
your little baggy jeans.
the bowling alley looks
Send
exactly
that
the
to
same.
Chris. You guys got to see this. But from here, I thank you so much for joining us, because this really we're gonna do this again, because I think you could unpack so much for people to help them understand how easy it is. But like you said, it's simple, but it's hard to get the successful part because it's that void. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do this year and next year. And I have a feeling you're going to grow a team and you're going to just explode here. So how can people get a hold of you if they wanted to get a hold of Jessica?
So if you want to get a hold of me, Instagram is probably the best way. My Instagram is at Jessica Garry, Garry, Realtor. So I always have my phone with me, my Apple Watch on. I monitor my DMs because that's the other thing too. Hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
There you go. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to have you on again, of course.
Yep.
So with that being said, we will see you on the next episode of Loans and Drones. Talk to you soon.